Magnus Carlsen is the current world champion and one of the greatest chess talents in history. In fact, he's so good at chess that he's beaten 10 skilled chess masters at the same time with a blindfold on. So what happens when a complete amateur, who is given just 1 month to prepare, challenges the brilliant chess mastermind?
I'm Max Deutsch. I'm 24 years old. I live in San Francisco, and I would consider myself an extreme learner.
This is Max, an obsessive learner who has been mastering various feats, with his last challenge being to defeat Magnus Carlsen in a one-on-one chess challenge. The challenge, which Magnus also agreed to, would take place 1 month into the future. While Max's chances are clearly slim, it becomes evident he doesn't realize how stupid this challenge really was. While Max describes himself as an extremely fast learner and shows he is skilled at multiple things, including solving the Rubik's Cube, drawing a masterful portrait, and freestyle rapping, this alone will not save him from being obliterated by the world champion. And Max knew this, which is why he immediately decided to think of ways he could compete with Magnus on an even playing field. However, the main problem Max had failed to take into account was just how little he knew about the game itself. While many people in the past have attempted to master the game from scratch, almost no one was ever able to break the 2000 barrier, with Michelle Kerr, a popular challenge YouTuber, only ever hitting 1,000 rating after a full year of training with professionals. If Max were to try and fight Magnus for a win, he would have to reach about 2600 ELO to even be given a decent chance. And even against 2600 rated players, Magnus is known to completely dominate them. With Magnus earning a peak chess rating of 2882 just a year before, there was just no way to make this fight fair. Except Max knew this too, and the next day he got to work on a genius invention.
Could I build an algorithm in my computer that looks at any given chess position and without having to go any further, any deeper, could say whether that's a favorable position or not?
Essentially, Max wanted to learn chess by turning himself into basically a computer. The only question was, could this work? And if so, could he learn this all in a month? Thankfully for us, we can answer this question, as engines aren't a new concept in chess. And at the time Max had been preparing against Magnus, Stockfish was already a widely developed engine that many players use to upgrade their chess skills. In fact, Magnus himself had used Stockfish as a tool against Viswanathan Anand in the 2014 World Championship. But it was already too late. Max had already been running his algorithm for around 4 weeks, waiting for it to calculate all the positions.
One thing that I did not anticipate was how long it would take my computer to come up with this algorithm. And so as we're speaking right now, my computer is still chugging away.
And as Max says here,
I have nothing memorized.
It was all a complete waste, and his time was running short. But Max hadn't come up empty-handed. He'd studied multiple popular chess openings that Magnus was most likely to use, and though his plan was unclear, it's likely he would try and prepare enough moves to compete with Magnus purely on chess theory. Unfortunately, Magnus has much better memory than him, having memorized over 10,000 chess games just from his head.
I think the game starts in the next 3 hours, so cutting it really close.
As Magnus was arriving, Max was playing with the Rubik's Cube. I mean, shouldn't you be studying chess? But as time progressed, Max looked more and more confident. Maybe there was something he knew, or maybe he had gotten a hold of the beads. As Max and Magnus stared each other down, you can almost immediately notice the lack of nervousness shown by Max, with his posture almost sort of slouched. And if you compare this to any other opponents of Magnus when they play him, who show clear signs of discomfort all the way until they lose, with Max's secret preparation and his confident and unshaken look, he started with e4, a move that is solid but something Magnus had seen countless times before. Magnus strikes back with an e5, the most popular response, and they start with playing the Ruy Lopez opening. Max's first few moves are surprisingly accurate, playing some of the best moves in the position. However, things start to fall apart with his first mistake, knight d5. This move, after Magnus captures, weakens White's pawn and gives the upper hand to Magnus Carlsen. After Magnus plays his knight to e5, then brings it to g4, Max makes his second mistake of the game, playing his queen to a square where it does nothing. Magnus plays queen h4, threatening checkmate, and Max counters with h3, which is a terrible mistake, blundering his knight. And after a few more moves, Max blunders his queen, destroying all the chances of winning that he never even had. Magnus then proceeded to mercilessly crush Max, ending the match with a rook a1 checkmate. While Max blamed it on the chess algorithm and took pride in his first few moves, it was evident that during the match, he never had any kind of advantage and he was completely outplayed over and over.
Keeping him a little bit nervous for at least 8 moves was a minor victory.
Max lasted 39 moves against Magnus Carlsen, which is not so bad, but if there's one takeaway from this match, it's that chess is an incredibly complex game that takes years to excel at. Magnus agreed to a rematch against Max when his chess algorithm was finished, and while Max may have hope, I think we all know how that'll turn out.